Hello everybody, how are you going? And welcome to some Canadian TikTok videos where we always seemingly get proven that Canada truly is the land of lakes and logs.
Hi, what can I get for you today?
Could I please get a latte?
Sure. Regular milk is okay?
Yeah, debit please.
Is regular milk okay?
Oh yeah, regular milk is fine.
Okay, hot or iced?
Yeah,
Ice?
debit please.
Sorry, hot or ice?
Oh, sorry, ice please.
Alright,
What?
we're here to go.
Have you? Where'd it go? Oh no!
Debit please.
I said we're here to go. Hi, what
Poor
can I get?
fella. Even though I did just say that Canada is the land of lakes and logs, I feel as though we can, in this case, just add lattes to that entire thing and lack of understanding as well. This poor guy was just trying his darndest just to, I guess, catch what she was saying. And yes, she was speaking quickly, but it wasn't that crazy. It's only since I've gone over and kind of read a little bit of the comments, I was going, hang on, why are people complaining about it? But then they have gone on to provide some pretty good examples, like super salad means soup or salad, which is, to be fair, very phonetically the same. It's just what you were hearing, that's going to be the difference. Where it does start to get a little bit more ridiculous is down here when you're getting dinner bag, which means do you need a bag? I can understand how that, especially if you're not particularly paying attention and they're just waiting to go, yes, please pay. You're going to have no idea. And so no wonder he's just saying debit please, especially if you're not used to having all the options, iced, latte, everything like that. You're just going to be going, can I just have my coffee, my tea, my croissant, anything, and just leave, please? What? What am I looking at? Is this from a truck or something? It has to be from up high. And I don't mean North American style truck. I mean like a semi, if you want to be pronouncing it being a semi-trailer. But that just looks so high because the signs are there, the trees look really small, but it's kind of fish-eyed because the mountains, I mean, the entire thing looks crazy. And I would love to know exactly where this is, and I'm sure it looks completely different in summertime, just absolutely green to the max. Does anyone say maybe Highway 1 going from Calgary to Banff? Fair enough, could be. It could be plenty of places in Canada, I'm sure, but I have never experienced driving like that. I mean, it does look quite fine in terms of driving on the road. There doesn't seem to be massive amounts of ice and snow, but at the same time, I don't particularly know what I would be looking for in terms of ice. So there's not a massive peeler top of snow all over though, so I can't imagine it's too cold, or at least it's not too wet. It just is bleak though, isn't it? It's just bleak as far as the eye can see, and it only is going to get more bleak as you continue up that mountain. Like you're going up and then around, and then I guess choosing your destiny over.
Australian versus Canadian. Word differences.
What?
Food edition.
Oh, here we go.
Chocolate.
Or chocky.
A chalky milky. Popsicle.
Ice block.
Yeah,
We
okay.
call it black ice.
A block of ice.
A block of ice, yeah. An ice cube.
Rice Krispies.
Or LCM bars.
Oh, okay. I couldn't even think of it.
And we call Rice Krispies the cereal rice bubbles.
Right.
Well, I guess they kind of look like
True.
a rice bubble. I get it. Chicken.
Chook.
Yeah, fair
People will
enough.
say like you're a chuck.
Yeah, or like, I'm gonna get a hot chook.
Yeah.
All right,
Woolies hot
shrimp.
chook.
Prawns. We don't
Prawns.
put a shrimp
Yeah.
on the barbie.
No.
Prawns.
Put another prawn on the barbie.
Are you trying to do our accent?
Yeah.
There's a prawns. I always like it when they do these more niche ones. As yes, they did chuck in shrimp and prawn on the end there, but I never would have thought about ice block and popsicle. I mean, like they said, what do you call a block of ice? Or what do you call an ice block? But that is exactly what it is. Depending on its size, it will either be an ice cube in terms of small for drinks, let's say, or it would be a block of ice. But that's the thing. We don't experience that much iciness, and so it's not really a vernacular that we need to be using. It doesn't create any problems there. The other ones, like I was saying though, when they are being particular, like with rice bubbles and rice products like that, I guess it's all brand differences and why they've chosen to be one over the other, because as we can see here, the actual brand is Rice Krispies, whereas this brand is Rice Bubbles, and so that's not word differences, that's literally just what the brand is. It's more comes down to when you're saying chicken and chook and those more slang terms, where you are going to get a roast chook or a roast chicken. You will definitely have plenty of people saying roast chicken, but a roast chook is a very, very common thing as well.
Trick or treat.
Aren't you a little too old to be trick-or-treating?
Well, yeah, but
Why is
grocery
that?
prices are too high.
I guess.
Do you have any, like, leftovers?
No.
No.
I could, like, check your fridge.
You sure?
Yes, I do.
What? Why is that just at the front door? What?
Trick or treat.
That was so unnecessary. To be doing all of that, to be taking the lollies, to be taking the protein powder, and then to have the disrespect to kick over the poor pumpkin. Strangely enough, it does look like it's not a real one. I don't know if you can really get real ones. I guess that would make sense, especially in these kind of climates. But I was thinking that they're going to be kind of withering and deteriorating. But no, that's going to be in hotter climates, surely more than cold climates. The cold is going to be like a refrigerator. And so I don't see how he just was able to kick it so easily. It just makes it look like it's, I don't know, it's made of marshmallow or something. It just bolts away. However, this entire clip does make me wonder, is Canada as committed to the whole Halloween celebration, holiday, whatever you want to be calling it, as the US? Because she said that, aren't you a little bit old to be trick-or-treating? And I feel as though that's just not a thing that I've ever heard from any North American movie, TV show, anything like that. It's always like, yeah, you got the kids going out, then the kids leave after maybe what, like 8 p.m. They can't be allowed out anymore. It's kind of past their bedtime. Then the adults come out and the teenagers come out and they just run amok until 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever it may be. But this interaction just seems like it could have taken place in an Australian household, as yes, Halloween is a thing that happens, but not every kid does it. It's not a particular like celebratory thing where everyone's looking forward to it for a month, a week out. It's kind of like, oh, it's Halloween tonight, we better just do something. It's not a massive deal, not compared to anything I've ever seen. And so is Canada on the same tier? Is it above Australia? I can only imagine it would be above, just given the cultural differences. It's more US-ified, but maybe not.
Here are 3 things I would never do crossing the US-Canada border from someone who did it every day for 4 years. Number 1, never go in with a whole story that you've prepared. Because the way they ask you certain questions, it won't match up to your answers. For example, okay, as soon as I get up there, I'm going to say I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian. He's going to citizenship. I'm Canadian. You're a citizen of what country? Canadian. Oh, step out of the car, sir. Listen to what they're saying. Respond. If you got nothing to hide, it'll be very easy. Number 2, I would never bring fruit or vegetables across the border. I know because I once brought an avocado and almost went to jail. They are serious. If you want to hear that story, follow, and I will definitely post that whole story as its own video. Number 3, I would never tell them I'm coming to work or volunteer without a work permit. One of my best friends is coming over to see me, and also we're going to do a magic show in Buffalo that next night. He's been banned for 5 years. There are my tips. Maybe share it with your friends, have a laugh, reminisce about the time you got screwed at the border. It's happened to all of us. We usually
3 years. Was it 3 years or 5 years?
coming over to see me, and also we're going to do a magic show in Buffalo that next night. He's been banned for 5 years. There are my tips.
5 years? How do you get banned for 5 years just for a simple thing like that? I mean, I guess it's a high stakes situation, I guess, is what they're dealing with. And it's not something that, in terms of border crossings, that any Australian ever has to deal with, because every border crossing we ever had to deal with is in the air on the planes when you're just applying for visas and dealing with all of that. However, in saying that, I've never felt like I've had to have a prepared story at customs or anything like that, because it's kind of part of the entire visa process, I guess. So do you have to have a visa to be crossing into these countries? I can only imagine not. However, they will be asking, why are you here? Is that how the entire thing works? I did also find it interesting that he said never have a prepared story, because for a lot of people, I'm sure they're going to be having a level of anxiety, whether they're doing it every day like he was doing, or especially if you're going to be doing it once a year, it's your first time ever, anything like that, you're going to be wanting to try and not feel suspicious, because that's the entire point, is to trying to not be suspicious. So you want to have your answers straight. And then if they do try to throw you off, to be catching you off guard, which makes sense from their perspective, then you can very quickly dig yourself a deep hole. But it's just something that I never would have thought about, just going, okay, I'm Canadian. What country are you from? I'm Canadian. And it just doesn't make sense. But then I don't understand why they would be saying step out of the car. It's just a little Freudian slip almost. Like, surely that's just not a big deal. They can understand what you're on about. Just by, 3 letters wrong? It's the same sentence. It's the same response, realistically.
Dude, Derek's starting to piss me off, man. Why, just because he's Canadian? No, I just never know what he's talking about. What do you mean? Just like, okay, I'll show you, okay? I'll just give him a call. Hey, Derek. Oh, hey, bud. Okay, look, watch, right? Hey, would you like to come over for dinner tomorrow night? Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, for sure. No, yeah.
That's a yes. How hard is it?
What the f*** does that? Is that a yes or a no?
It's a
Ask him
yes.
something else. Okay.
Come on now.
Hey, are you still driving that Nissan? Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, no.
He's
no,
not.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I don't know what he was talking about. That was clearly plain English, and it's just the fact that on the first one he said more yeses, and on the second one he said more no's. So the first one he was saying yes, he wouldn't mind coming over for dinner. That sounds lovely. No, not a big deal at all. And then the second one was going, nah, I'm not driving that whatever it was, the Nissan anymore. Yes, that is correct that I'm saying no. It's basically how it's going. Yes, he didn't do the typical no, yes, and then yes, no, but it's still plain and simple. Get a bit of context surrounding you and just have a guess. If nothing else, it's not a big deal.
Americans in Canada.
Oh, more Americans in Canada.
Those are weird looking igloos. Oh, this Tim Guy's coffee tastes like garbage. Don't they have a Dunkin' Donuts around here?
Oh, them fun words.
I mean, okay, we have those too. I came here to see beavers and mooses. Where are those?
Just in the middle of the city. I mean, maybe in the middle of some cities, but not in the middle of the massive cities that you would be surrounded by. And like you said, they are some weird looking igloos, but that's, if they were igloos, I would be very, very, very impressed. I mean, one, by the size and the shape of them, considering that's a square, and an igloo isn't very good being a square. From the video I watched, they need to be round to be melting together to have their structural integrity stay in place, let alone the fact that it might get a little bit too liquidy in the summertime as it's just reaching 30 and 40 degrees and the entire building collapses around you. I mean, then you might just have a water park, so not the worst thing, but hopefully the 40 stories above you don't decide to go before yours.
A little snowfall on the laneway the other day, and I saw had a fucking big old pile of ice here. I couldn't shovel that shit, so I went down to the local Home Depot, went up to Buddy, I said, "Hey bud, how do I get rid of this fucking ice?" He said, "Let me show you something real quick." Guy comes out with a fucking snow torch. I'm like, "Buddy, that ain't no snow torch, that's a fucking flamethrower, buddy." He's like, "Oh yeah, buddy, it's a flamethrower." So we're gonna rip this thing, set fire to the ice here, get rid of this hump here, cause I ain't shoveling that bullshit. Oh hell no.
What is
So,
that?
let's give her hell. Oop.
How is that a snow torch? I've never heard of such a
snowfall
thing.
on the laneway the other day.
What is going on here? I mean, I wish I could see it in all its glory, but this guy is stereotypical to some degree. I mean, obviously he doesn't fit every province's stereotype, but my goodness, him and his flamethrower with his flannel and his toque on, he is having one hell of a time clearing out that ice. And I don't know why everybody doesn't just do this. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more expensive using probably LPG or something compared to just shoveling, or even eventually buying a tractor with the amount of money that you would be, or not a tractor, but an excavator or a front end loader or anything like that to be able to clear out your driveway efficiently if you needed that much. But realistically, who and how did they get that? How is that just a thing you can buy? Surely not. Surely you need to be getting permits. I don't know. He did say it was a snow torch, and maybe that's how they're, or snow clearer? No, I think he said a snow torch. Yeah, exactly. I just had to listen to it again, and he says it's a snow torch, and so I can only presume that a snow torch is something you can get but doesn't generally exist in that form. It doesn't exist in a flamethrower form. Maybe it's literally a smaller torch-sized thing for some, I don't know, clearing your car perhaps? I have no idea. But that thing, to keep people away from it, there is no need for every single person to be having one of those. You would just be lighting up the entire neighborhood. Oh, look at that. That is a serious place to be. I still can't believe that a boat can be that close though. You'd just be getting absolutely smashed. Oh, fair enough. That is a serious display of nature, and not one that's completely untamable. Like, in terms of, it's not unfathomable. It's not a kilometer wide. It's not, 500 kilometers long like the Great Lakes are. It's a little bit difficult to see. Whereas this, you get to kind of experience it, get a little bit wet, be up and close and personal, but still be able to appreciate the might behind a few hundred meters of constant water flow. And that's over the entire river system. You can kind of see it all in one picture, whether that is just from a lookout or actually from the boat. And I do wonder how much are the boat tickets, because I can only imagine, given the volume of people that are going to be going there, they wouldn't be that cheap, as they want to be like playing the fine line of, yeah, charging a lot of money, but not charging too much so no one ever goes there. I am also seeing from here though that why is no one on the, what is it, the east side, I believe? Is that which way it is? Whatever side. This, in this frame here, this north part right here, why is nobody there? As I can see cars, but I don't really see people in the same way.
Canada and the United States, not two different countries. Both countries have their problems. In Canada, we have a thank you problem. Nobody ever says you're welcome in this country. It's just constant thanking all the time. And there's way too much apologizing. I'm sorry, can I offer you something? I'm so sorry, but I'm fine, thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, it's fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you. And again, I'm sorry. And in the United States, they have a pretty significant gun and racism problem, so both countries have their problems.
Right.
Canada and the United States.
Sure. I mean, going to the first problem, the major problem that he touched on at least, and the fact that they have a thank you and a sorry problem, it just, there's sometimes that stereotypes aren't true, and sometimes that there are. And I feel as though this one, even internally, Canadians say that it is true, and whether they like it or not, it is just a thing that happens. Whether it's sorry, whether it's thank you, whether it's apologizing, anything like that, it truly is a over politeness to some degree, or at least that's what a lot of people think of it as, especially if they are coming from the USA and just having that direct correlation and culture comparison, because they go, well, we are fairly similar. We're not comparing ourselves to the Middle East or China or anywhere in Eastern Europe. Like, that's much further of culture differences compared to Canada and the USA. But there is still these things where you go, you didn't apologize, or you didn't do this, or you did over apologize and you said sorry for saying sorry too much. Sorry about that.
Hello, this is my dramatic reenactment of what it's like to make friends in Canada versus Australia. For reference, I'm a Canadian living in Australia. Hey man, do you want to hang out this weekend, next weekend, and potentially every other weekend after that? I'll introduce you to my friends, you can introduce me to your friends, and we can build this tightly knit community around like 2 or 3 really close friendship groups, where you'll feel loved and supported, and you'll always feel like you have someone to hang out with, and we'll be friends for many years to come. I can't hang out this weekend. I've overcommitted myself to like 6 different events, 30 different friendship groups, and the only way that I'm going to be vulnerable with you is if I'm completely plastered, and you don't drink that much, so even if I don't drink, I'm going to want to keep things pretty superficial because feelings make me uncomfortable. Hello, this is my dramatic reading.
That's interesting, and I wonder why or what she has been through to be having that feeling. As I'm sure that is a very personal opinion. Plenty of people may feel the opposite, plenty of people may feel the same, and that is what it is. But it's interesting to hear that if you are having a group of 2 or 3 or 4 compared to 30 groups of people where you've completely overcommitted, and that's how she's seemingly portraying it as the norm. It's interesting to hear, as I feel as though this is actually going to be quite a rare thing for people to be picking up on. There's a lot of people that if they are going to be doing extended holidays, do spend most of that time just touring around. They want to see as much of the country as possible instead of just, I mean, if they're going for work, they're going for work, but if they are going to be touring around, they're not going to be staying in one place, so you don't develop that same kind of long-term friend groups, and so it's different, and not many people are going to be having a similar experience to what she has. And so I wonder, does anyone else have a similar experience to what she's had here? Is it the opposite? Do you have it in the USA, in the UK, South America, anything like that? If you are going to other countries, how do people experience their friendship groups? Because is it an Australian thing? Is it a Canadian thing? Or is it just a personal thing?